Hello, welcome into the LCS Challengers League. I'm Magical, joined in by the bald one himself in oh, sorry, wrong person. It's Kangas over here. As well, on the end, we have an LCS caster in the house, Cubby. How are you doing?
I'm good. I still think NACL caster with an LCS appearance is probably the correct title. But, you know, I'll take it, and I'm honored to be joined by two of my bunnies for the day.
Ladies, he's humble too. That's the takeaway here. Congratulations, Cubby. It was awesome to see you cash over the weekend. Also, we're gonna have like a timer of how quickly the host calls me bald every day, because so far I think like the record is about 3 seconds. I think
it would be done now.
Magical there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I already got you there, so don't worry. I've got you covered. And you know what we also got covered? We have some awesome Twitter posts that we can cover and talk about all of the NACL League and talk about these players because, yeah, we did have a record of fastest game just yesterday.
It was disgusting. Like, I was watching this one. Sometimes you watch a game and you have physical discomfort watching it, and you're like, yep, this kind of turned into one of those ones. TSM absolutely slapped. It's cool that Dox is getting in on the fun, because a lot of times when you look at TSM Challengers, it's the top half of the map that we're looking at. I think Dox has definitely stepped it up here.
Dox is a player that, you know, we always talked about before, especially in the semi-pro / amateur, whatever you want to call it beforehand. The Dox is a diff. So seeing him on TSM Challengers, we're having some high expectations for him. And now we're starting to see him get back into that groove, feel a lot more comfortable in the Challengers League. But we got to keep moving forward, because another player who's been having a lot of fun is Keel. Rolling it, that's what is it, his second game in 2 weeks on Nunu, his classic El Clasico.
Oh, they see him rolling. Oh, yeah.
I love how his Twitter profile picture is the Udyr. So it's like we get like the Udyr with the Nunu on the screen. It's good stuff.
I mean, what is Willemp anyways? He's like more of a Yeti, not really a bear. Kind of close enough. But speaking of animals, I guess we got to move on to the moose in this.
Wait, I didn't see this.
Oh, you didn't see this one?
My Twitter's been boomed the past couple of days.
It has
I really haven't been active on it.
Yeah, you gotta.
This is really good.
You got some DMCA
if you want to follow Kangas, make sure you follow @mad_magical for all updates on his stream. Just so you know.
Yeah, you'll be tweeting for me.
I highly doubt that when Dignitas, like their social media team, made this image, I don't think there were many sorries flying around. I think it was just, you know, they wanted to send a message, and oh my, I will say, Hoon, if this is how you want to spend your off season, it looks dashing on you. I'll leave it at that.
This is an aesthetic. Yep.
Here we go. And this is a good one. I do agree with Emily. It would have been really nice to see a best of 3. I mean, playoffs. There's always playoffs for these players that we get to watch them, and I'm really excited about that.
I do think that, like, given how Wildcard plays, and Dignitas as well, Dignitas for me, they've been the most early game focused team. Wildcard, they always want red side. They draft scaling. They draft how their champions interact outside of lane and not within lane. I do think that'd be a very fascinating best of series, given the different styles that we have from each of those teams. But also, Game 2 was something else. We'll just leave it at that. Game 2 was quite the game. We had Wildcard, like, down 2k gold. They lost 5k gold securing the 3rd dragon, and that might have won them the game because the 4th one got them soul. It was just ridiculous. Let's just say
it was a quintessential Wildcard game, right?
It was.
And you know what? We had some fun watching the games yesterday, but we also don't have games tomorrow. We have a day off. So why don't we take a look at what all the casters are going to be up to on said day off?
Feels good to relax. We finally have some time off, Kangas. What are we gonna do?
I don't know, probably watch cartoons. What do you think everyone else is up to?
Oh boy, can't wait to put together and paint these miniatures. Ta-da!
To the zoo to find some ducks, but instead I found Eric and Steve hanging out. Look at them back there.
Lennon, what day is it?
Oh, it's the only. We gotta go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. We overslept.
Still so crazy I ran into both you and Eric at the zoo, Steve. What a coincidence.
Yeah, it's lucky that we got to feature him because he didn't send me any footage of what he's doing on his off day. So we got
I feel
to
like
have
he was
him in that
busy
one
this
instead.
week. Another LCS caster, you know?
True, yeah. I know. And Cubby didn't even want to show his face on his video he sent in. So yeah, the LCS casters
it's all about golfing for him, you know?
You know, I'm married to the game. What do I say? And you know, a little bit of putting drills, decent stroke going on. You know.
All right, but it's good to see from us. But I also want to see what the players are going to be up to on their day off. So why don't we take a gander at what they've all got planned for themselves?
With an off day, probably just individually work on some stuff, work on things with, you know, such a recent patch, just, you know, through solo queue, figure out, you know, just individually keep climbing the ranks, keep working on that regard, and then individually outside of, you know, league and all that, I enjoy playing basketball, so might hoop with whoever's around, might shoot some shots.
Yeah, probably just like breathe a little bit after a 4-0 weekend. If I do anything, really just like go for a walk. It's like a really nice place to live in Vegas, and I haven't really seen much of it, so probably go hiking as like a team or something like that. And then other than that, just like homework or scrim, yeah.
So normally we start off every day by going to the gym. So I imagine that's how it's going to be again.
Sure.
But maybe a little bit of a longer session, maybe some more intense basketball gaming.
Ooh, okay.
Probably just go to the gym, get some groceries at the store, stuff like that.
Maybe go to the gym. I like watching anime on the side. Whatever has a good story, honestly. Whatever, yeah, good story, good art, like usually it catches my eye, and if it does have both, like, yeah, I'm usually watching it. Yeah, I try to read and try to find ways to like educate myself, like, can't always be like 24/7 league, you know? Like sometimes you gotta spend an hour doing like touching grass, like outside the world.
Usually go to the gym before I start my day off. Then after that, probably like everyone else, maybe not like everyone else, but just play solo queue.
I'm impressed with how many players go to the gym on their days off. Like, props to them, making sure they keep up the physical fitness going on. But I also want to give a quick shout out to the LEC for the raid as well. Welcome in all viewers from the LEC. This is the LCS Challengers League that we're broadcasting for all of you. If you don't know what that is, it's a bunch of aspiring players that are looking to make their stay in the LCS one day, but they got to play through this first. They got to prove themselves in order to get there.
LEC ended early, too. That's crazy that we already got the raid. So
congrats to Matt on top 4 being secured. Big win today. And yeah, should be interesting to see how our games go moving forward.
And speaking of things that are interesting to look at moving forward, why don't we look at our lovely top lane bracket bonanza that we've been putting on this entire week. And this one is the community bracket. So we have a community one as well as we have an inside one with the casters. But this one, I don't think it's too surprising to see Moose Hater in the finals.
Definitely not a popularity contest, you know. That's all.
Yeah,
we'll
welcome
say.
LEC viewers. You probably have heard the name Moose Hater at some point. In the last week.
So the way that we did this, we seeded the players 1 through 16 in terms of where their teams were at. That's why we have, you know, a matchup like Bradley versus Hanser in the first round, which is kind of wild. And we just kind of let the community vote from there. And here's where we're at. So Moose Hater versus Sniper. Love to see it, honestly. I mean, Moose Hater, the fact that he's gone international. And the fact that, you know, he also was able to dodge out on the matchup of Hoon, who, you know, kind of got the best of him yesterday, and also who was right in that Moose on Dignitas' Twitter. Lucky Moose Hater, you know. It just has to go against the youngest player we have in the league.
There's a couple of really rough round 1 matchups here, and I think we're actually going to show our internal one, because, of course, this was the community. This is going on Twitter, and actually right now it should be live for the finals tweet. So you can go check out Path LCS and go vote on it yourself who wins the finals, but this was our internal one.
So this one's
that we
already
talked
over.
about ourselves as broadcasters, and the toughest thing was some of these first round matchups were really tough. I think the most glaring thing is you're going to note Moose Hater was out round 1 for us. Internally, let's just address the elephant in the room here.
That's how you piss off everyone in the community.
Biased casters, fire them, you know?
I know. Also, important to note, Hanser made it very far in our internal vote. And Cubby, I know that a lot of people might be surprised by this because obviously Bradley, fan favorite, he made it through in round 1 of the, you know, the Twitter poll vote. But we have seen Hanser as one of the standout performers in the top lane. And clearly, he won the entire thing for us.
I think Hanser's had a fantastic season. You know, Bradley's a player I'm really excited about moving forward, but I think it really speaks to Hanser how well he's playing. And we'll see both of those top laners on this stream today. Also, I gotta say, I think Jenkins was out early. I think that Jenkins has had a phenomenal split as well. And he's definitely up there in the rankings for me in terms of some of the better top laners that we have.
I will say that Haunts or Fake God was kind of my finals, but obviously that's not how it goes. But we got to keep moving forward. We got Champs Queue. It starts today. If in case you weren't paying attention, it is going on now. In fact, I believe there was a stream the other day to show what prizes we have. The one that I'm talking about is the first place helmet that all the players are going to play for. That is going to be an amazing prize. But to talk about every prize, then the second place goes out to the top 50 players, and it's going to be a lovely jacket that will have their rank on the sleeve. So whatever rank they finished in Champions Queue, their name on the front, then on the back, it's going to be all 50 names of the top 50 players. While third place for the top 100 players is going to be a nice simple shirt. You know, it's still something to brag about. Only 100 players getting it. It's all bragging rights all the same.
Okay, so this is what I'm calling out right now. An NACL player needs to win, because then we can make content with you wearing the helmet. That is a wearable helmet. It's not just a trophy. You can take that off and put it on your head.
Better get, Steve. Why doesn't a caster win it? You know, why don't we try to do that?
I'm not Kadril, I'm sorry. You know?
Come on, Cubby, you disappoint me already. Oh, you're
I moved to 60 ping. I haven't played solo queue yet. It arranges me, you know?
But keeping this going forward, somehow I have to keep it sane, which is weird.
Wait,
going at the standings now. No,
I just heard Mark yell through the wall scope. Anyway,
well, Mark could also do it, but Mark is failing us as well. But that's a whole other point.
He can't get that high.
Yeah, he can. But he's just failing us. It's NACL standings. I'm saying that now just because I want to get him to yell at you again. But standings. This is what we're talking about. Standings. Dignitas Challengers, first place team right now, followed closely by C9 Challengers. But we have some interesting news that just happened recently about C9 Challengers that we can talk about, with M&S going up to the LCS and Diplex playing.
I mean, for me, I really feel like this is more of M&S playing well. Like, I don't love to reference stats. I know I put a tweet out, but I think it is really telling just the gap in stats that he has, like, between himself and other players. He has 25 solo kills so far this season. The next highest is 18. The next highest mid laner is at 10. Yeah. Just to give you an idea of how dominant he's been at that phase of the game. And he's got the second highest DPM in the league, too. And he's doing this playing, you know, Assassin's playing forward. He's gotten ahead. That helps. You know, he's winning a lot. That helps. But still, the way this guy plays skirmishes and lanes, it's really, really, really at a high level. And I think the C9 is just going to give it a go now. See what happens.
And moving on to the matches we have today, C9 will be playing in our second series today, so we'll be able to see Diplex playing with the Academy squad up against TSM Challengers. But the first one, or, you know, actually not even the first one, I'll just open up the table to both of you. Which match are you most excited for between TLF, Cincinnati Fear, TSM Challengers, C9 Challengers, FlyFam, and Team Liquid Challengers?
I'll just go first here. I'm saying TLF, actually, because this is going to be my first look at LJX, the sub coming in here in the bot lane. They've had a roster swap pretty late now into the season, and I think that TL first have been a team that's so close to having, like, signs of promise and taking games off of big teams. They took a game off of Team Liquid Challengers, which is really cool, and I'm hoping the LJX is able to step in and kind of upgrade a little bit of their bot side.
Cubby, 5 words, go.
Second match, best game, yay.
Nicely done. All right, I just want to bounce off of... Yeah, he got it. Steve, he got it. Let's move forward and what we have today. And I'm glad you talked about Team Liquid first and Cincinnati Fear, because this is the matchup we got first. As well, TLF having LJX step in to fill the shoes of Mia, since she is stepping into the substitute role. We look at this team. This team, we know has talent on them, but we've definitely seen some struggles that they've had going into the season. And so when we look at them, like, I wonder how LJX will fit in this identity of the team, since for the last few weeks, we have seen that TLF, when they play and how they win, is usually through the top side of the map.
Yeah, and that's going to be a general trend throughout this weekend. Gubby, that's part of why we ran the Twitter polls for the top lane Bonanza bracket, because a lot of these teams we're going to see today especially play through their top side.
And so Ran, this is a player used to play on Harrisburg University. Stepping in, so name change for LJX. But on the other side, Cincinnati Fear, I gotta say, after an 0-4 week, they had a really nice bounce back yesterday.
They did. I mean, it's always nice to see a team bounce back like that. And Cincinnati Fear, Steve and I actually got to meet them at the gym and talk to these players. It was a lot of fun getting to know them behind the scenes and see how much camaraderie they have as a whole unit. It's not just about one player being the star. They all really do try to pull their weight.
Yep, shout out to Pick Gamer as well for helping them out get to the gym and keep their schedules pretty regulated. They're a fun team to watch because they came in kind of out of the blue. Like, we honestly did not have that high of expectations for a lot of the provisional teams, but Wildcard and Fear are two of the ones that have really stepped up. Fear, early strong start because of strength of schedule. We always like to remind everybody of that. They're really high in the standings because they played a lot of the weaker side teams first. Now they're going through the gauntlet of all the tough teams, but they took a 2-0 against FlyQuest Challenger. That's a really big pickup already for them this weekend.
And I swear to God, if Olaf is not respected against Faisal today, I'm going to have an aneurysm again. Because this champion, whenever he gets it, he just runs the rift. And I know that Surdy's going to have something up his sleeve. Definitely a matchup that we're excited for on the top side. Surdy against Faisal, two provisional top laners we feel like are playing at the Challengers level and have really stepped up for each of their teams respectively this year.
And if any player is willing to ego, it is Surdy up against Faisal to say, you know what, fine, you have your Olaf. I have all my other picks because Surdy is one of these top lane players that when we take a look at the clips and we get to see just the mechanics that he has, he was a surprise that we didn't actually see picked up by a Challengers team. Faisal was the other one that we were a little surprised not to see picked up.
So, go for it, Kevin.
I mean, it's wild to think that these were both the top laners in the EG ecosystem last year, too. With Faisal, being that Evil Genius's Prodigy's top laner, I felt like he was the strongest performing top laner a lot of times in the amateur space. And then on the flip side, we've got Surdy with not on EGA anymore, now on TLF. I think that each of these players on professional teams, again, have been really stepping up. They're going to be very familiar with each other from their play last year being in the same organization. I know that there were a lot of scrims between those two teams, so it should be really fun to see them hit the rift today.
What I love about Surdy and watching his play is oftentimes you can tell in big moments where not every top laner would be able to pull it off, Surdy does. And that's what we were kind of highlighting in some of those plays. The confidence to just go for a play, to be level 5, 1 minion away from 6, say, all right, I need a position forward so when I hit 6, I'm ready to go afterwards. And you can see here, we got some fun stats for their head-to-head. So the caster Bonanza, it's called that because this was our internal vote. I know that Surdy got knocked out early on against Moose Hater in the community vote, but this is what we as casters voted internally. So both of them finishing out in the bracket around the same point.
Yeah, and honestly, looking at both players, like, it's surprising to see how well Surdy's still able to play on a team that is at the bottom of the stand. Also something we've known from him, how good he is, how talented he is when it comes to lane phases. You can see a lot of the stats and how that compares. Despite being on a team that is 3-17, he is still up at gold differential at 15 by 500 gold on average.
And the games that TLF have won or have come close to winning, it's been based off of Surdy's play in the early game and how he's able to snowball it from there. He's been very important for this team. And with sub changes happening to the bot lane, still expect this going to be the strategy for TLF. Just hoping that they put together some better games today, because frankly, yesterday was not very close.
Well, I mean, it's also a sub, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Steve. It's like, sub, it's also how much can you really quantify that, right?
Yeah, it was also an 18-30 perfect game. So, we're hoping for better than that.
Yeah. All right, Steve, what were you going to say?
I was going to say the strategy that they had in the past was putting Mia on things that can facilitate. They loved the Ashe pick. That was one of their highest pick rate champions for the bot lane. And honestly, I'm hoping that LJX can slot in and do something similar, because I do still like the winning formula of play through top. For this team in particular, it seems like how they're going to get the most wins, but we also look at growth for these provisional teams. It's not just about getting the win. It's about how can they show that they're developing as players and getting to that next step. So there's a lot to prove, I think, for Team Liquid first here.
I mean, against Cincinnati Fear, one of the, actually, the second professional team that we have right now, right behind Wildcard. They were the ones that were holding that title for a while. It's a big task to ask, but it's also a good way to show yourself, say, hey, we can still fight up against these provisional teams and really take it to force. But I also do have a surprise for both of you as we get ready for Champions Select. I'm not throwing it to you inherently.
No.
It's going to be all three of us talking through the
still
Chip
here.
Select.
Wow.
I'm still here, and I will be joining
he's
you
still
through
here.
Chip
He
Select.
followed us.
Wow,
I've been
I'm gonna
told
say
you can't get rid of me yet.
I was gonna say, you know, I'm a big fan of the upgrades that we have on our broadcast. You know, I love this UI. It feels like LCS now. But the fact that we have Mad Magical here too, I can't compliment that anymore. I apologize. You know.
all right, but I'm more
you did the 180. I thought you were saying this over the positive.
I thought you were too. I was about to say, don't speak positive.
I gotta throw you off guard sometimes too, Magical.
No, good. Don't speak positively. How dare you? Anyways, Steve, I'm gonna let you still remain in. I'm not gonna take it away from you too much. I'm more just here for support.
All right, you're like the reaction guy. You're usually people complain about casters being react Andes too much. So now we literally have somebody who's going to be doing that on the broadcast for us, which means that me and Cubby actually have to talk about champs. So let's catch up. Team Liquid first on the blue side, banning away the Olaf. They are respecting it. Cubby, Faisal will not get that with the Seraphine, holding their final ban for right now. Fear, meanwhile, taking away things like the Karthus, things like the Elise. City Witty has a very unique jungle pool, does like to go for those scalers. If they want to triple down, it would look like the Kindred ban for their final one from Fear.
Yeah, and honestly, if they do get rid of all those champs, those have been a lot of the answers to the Sejuani that City has liked to play some of the champs into. So with the Maokai taken off the board, wondering if TLF feels like, hey, we need the power pick that's Sejuani, or if they feel like they still have answers to it. I will say that Varus has still been a champ that has had really high priority. It's still very easy to first pick here. So we'll see if that's going to be the move for TLF. Not going to be the Varus, going to be the Kate.
Okay, so they're leaving up the Sejuani. Let's see if Fear want to grab it for parry themselves here then, because like you said, some of TLF's answers are still on the table because they opt for that Caitlyn first pick. Now, we're a couple weeks past where we've seen this in the support role. Can we just safely say it's going to be 80 carry? Like, we no longer have to worry about it?
Yeah, no, we don't have to worry about it anymore. It's past that a time point. Plus, with how we've seen
Jhin
Caitlyn
comes in here, though?
Jhin support is something that could still be played, but I'm expecting it to be Caitlyn. Caitlyn Lux. I always will try to chill for the Morgana, and would be a funny pick if they take it away, because this is Trevor's best played champion in his entire career, so it's something he knows how to play against. And instead, so not really getting that power out of Surdy that we're used to.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really surprised with that Scion, because, you know, Fiora's up. I was about to tease the fact that Surdy's Fiora, that's been his go-to. He's willing to blind that into anything, but Scion maybe looking to force the Varus to go for that on-hit build if they want to stack up the tanks. And also, we will see, I mean, one of those answers in the Sejuani could be here if they want to go Kindred. It's an option, but it's not going to be the Kindred, going to be the Jarvan. So now, really curious if we see Trevor maybe go for a Thresh, go for a Tahm Kench. I think Thresh would be pretty decent right now. You could take away a couple support counters and make sure that you can cancel the Jarvan EQ and have a way to get out of the Cataclysm if you are Varus. So I think priority of those two champions really goes up now for Fear. Now the Jarvan's locked in.
Yeah, they got a couple seconds to lock it in. I'm just excited because this means that it's a new look for TL first, where usually, like you'd highlighted, it's Surdy playing a carry, that then they can play the top side. That's how they're getting wins. This is looking more like a kind of front-to-back team fight style. That's usually what you draft the Scion for. So when we talk about it isn't about getting the wins for all these provisional teams, it's about showing the growth. We're seeing some growth, at least in the priority and pick ban. Now, can they translate that to performance on the Rifts? Because Fear lock in the Gwen.
There's a choice now for TLF. Do they want to get rid of mid laners that Fear can blind, or do they want to take down some of the supports that I talked about? Like, do you not want to deal with Thresh when you have a Jarvan Caitlyn? That's something that I wouldn't mind seeing a ban thrown, but there is also Thresh and TK, so you couldn't get rid of both. They're actually going to answer with the Karma ban. That tells me that they still want to go with Lux, so we'll see if Fear takes that away here.
Ooh, and there it is. So Heimerdinger and the Lux taken away from the side of Fear. Jin's on the table. Oh, no.
Okay. No. I don't. I think that it was a meme put down by Covey. I don't think that's actually likely. The Thresh probably would be the likely ban, and then looking at like what's second, third round, like the Tahm Kench would make a lot of sense for Trevor to take here.
You take away a mid here. You can't. You don't want to take away Thresh. Like, you can't take away both, right? So they get escape out of Cataclysm either way. Taking away Nautilus is actually kind of interesting. We have Trevor doing some hovers here. I mean, they could pick support here and blinded. I will say that would give Kate a support counter pick. That does matter quite a bit in this matchup. We'll see if Rovex can use that wisely.
Hey, I mentioned I mentioned
Oh,
Morgana
I thought that was the last second pivot and lock in on Pike for a second, but no, it is still the Thresh. So easy Lantern out of the Cataclysms.
It's not a bad Morg game.
Engage also.
No, that's what I was about to say. I mentioned
really
Morg earlier. So it's something I like paired with Caitlyn. And you look at what's on the other side, it's a good pick to make sure that you're not getting caught out so easily, and you can keep LJX a lot safer.
Ooh. This could be interesting.
Let's wait till it's actually locked in before.
There it is.
Here we go.
Wow, okay, so I was wrong completely. It is still
Yeah,
Kang support.
Magical. Come on. What's that all about? All this confidence about you're wrong, Kangas? There's no way it's going to happen, Kangas. Well, look at that.
Because Kangas, you're like a broken clock. You're only right twice a day.
Hey, to be fair, he wasn't wrong about this. He wasn't wrong about the spell shields. You know, it's just a different type.
Yeah. I got one more time to be right.
Yes, pretty much. But yes, going to what Covey said again. Why am I the one keeping us on track? This is just backwards.
Well, you threw us for a loop by still being here right now.
Surprise,
I'm not used to having an extra voice.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm used to having several in my head, but that's a whole different conversation.
I'm just gonna make that joke.
Yeah.
All right.
You're too late to the party. Ooh,
let's catch up. This is
Shochi.
exciting. Tryndamere locked in for Fear. Now, is that going to be
Shochi.
a Tryndamere mid?
Yeah, that's Shochi. That's like the one champion he has a pentakill on too was with Tryndamere.
Interesting. I mean, I like it, the fact that now Fear, they're really committing to playing sides, right? And Tryndamere, there isn't a lot of CC for him to like get around. Like, there's not hard crowd control to stop this Tryndamere. The only thing, like, you can use Sivarol to try and space it out, but I think the Tryndamere inside lanes, I mean, Sion can't move him later. You can go Kraken Slayer if you are really feeling that. I still expect the Gale Force, but this is going to be really tough for TLF to get Tryndamere out of the backline. And I kind of like the pick. I mean, it is a Shochi special. This is the only team that's really playing Tryndamere in the tournament.
See, before you say anything, I'm about to disappear. I'm going to let you both take over from here.
He's leaving us. Cubby, he's going. Oh my goodness. No.
Where'd he go?
He's gone. Do you think he's actually gone, or can he still hear us?
I mean, I think we can still hear him, and he can still hear us. The question is, can the broadcast?
That's a good point. Well, let's not worry about that right now, because we're in a game number 1. Team Liquid first, and Fear 5v5 level 1 bot lane. Let's do it! The hook lands on a Cerny, and he's just gonna get bopped first blood early for Faisal.
Yeah, that death sentence rang true here, as that Sion passive not gonna get any damage done, and Fear starting off with a hot. That's starting off the way you want it, you know.
Well, you know, sometimes League of Legends games take a long time to really ramp up. Happy that this one will not be one of those, because Gwen's starting lane with a Dark Seal.
Yeah, a Dark Seal and a pot. That's not the start that you want if you are Sion in this lane. Faisal should be able to at least, you know, get comfy a lot earlier. The Leeching Leer, really big for Gwen in this matchup because you can start sustaining through Sion's damage. And the fact that Faisal is going to have that extra power early, we'll see if Surdy is able to get pushed in this matchup.
So this changes a lot of expectations. Obviously, the fan vote right now is heavily leaning towards Fear. No surprise. You just look at the standings, the win-loss ratio of these two teams. But one thing I was going to mention during pick ban, I'm curious your thoughts on it, Cubby. I like the Tryndamere in concept, but in actual practice, I feel like it loses the range matchup mid clearly, and you can get heavily chunked out. And with a jungler like J4 that can go for aggressive early ganks, I'm actually kind of worried of Sochi being able to survive laning phase.
I actually do like the Tryndamere a lot. I think that it just turns this game into, like, we're going to play sides, and you cannot deal with it on the side of TLF, because Sion and Azir cannot as Faisal. Took a tower shot.
Almost just takes down Surdy. Still level 1. How close is Surdy? He's got to be like 1 minion away right now, but Faisal's going back in. This is that XP advantage. Utilizing that extra AP from the Dark Seal and the extra XP. So he's just hard trading against Surdy.
And Perry's already going to the top side, so Surdy does still have Flash, but Perry, he's 3 camps. He's working towards top. You know, this has been the strategy we've seen a lot from each of these teams, playing towards their strength in the top side. And Perry, a little bit of a different take on this game as the Sejuani heading up there.
Interesting, though, you're hovering the side that's pushed in, so this is very defensive style.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we see LJX
bring in Shochi
shoving in the bot lane. Shochi linking up. So Fear playing to the top half of the map, letting their bot lane get shoved in. They won't find anything other than just push City off of the blue buff. And actually,
really clever.
Looks like he's just going to take the blue buff.
So, Shochi saw that the Wolves were down. They're assuming now that because they don't see Jarvan on blue or Gromp, that he's actually hovering the top lane behind the turret. So, the fact that Perry had the help of Shochi, was able to get that scout down. Now he gets the blue buff for free, and Perry's able to deny some camps. So, it's a really nice opener from Cincinnati Fear.
Tracking City, and also utilizing your solo lanes to back up the jungle to just confidently go in, invading the J4. Not always something that we expect many junglers to be able to do, as 30 and Faisal still trading top side, but probably nothing else crazy happening here. I'm looking at Perry now hovering mid. Do they want to go into Aspect, who just TP'd back to lane?
Aspect is hovering the other side of the lane. I think Perry's just going to try and cross to compete with the Crab. He wants to get to the other side of his map. And I will say that for Perry, you know, playing away from the bot lane, as his bot lane, you can see them getting pushed in. This is the double marksman matchup into the Thresh. Yes, it's very good for TLF early. That's okay. The fact that City doesn't get access to any of his camps is another big win for Cincinnati Fear.
Perry's still hovering. Okay, he's spotted out now. Perry was walking for the invade to follow City into his own jungle, but we'll decide, nope, I'm just going to back off. So no crazy early ganks from either of these junglers. It's been all about tracking. And because of that, Faisal now knows City's bot side can go for even more aggressive trades onto Surdy, who's still honestly playing this not too bad. Not really in danger of dying right now.
You can see mid. Shochi's up in CS, as Azir hasn't been able to really move the Tryndamere. And again, Shochi, if he's able to get going, who can stop him in the side lane later? So Fear, the fact that they're up a little bit of gold right now, Kangas, is really, really good sign for them. I mean, we'll see what they can do to run with this. Because I look at this Gwen, I look at the Tryndamere, I don't see anyone on the side of TLF that can stop either of these champions, and they're already off to a great start.
They're accelerated, and meanwhile for TLF, where they have a lead is in the bot side. Because they've been constantly shoving in, Perry really hasn't spent any time down here, and TLF are using that push to go for an early dragon. Aspect not level 6 yet, but gets off of Perry, and I don't see Fear really contesting this unless they want to collapse the bot side too.
Hold on.
4v4 right now.
Dragon's at half. They're going to let him take damage. Quadrake does a lot of damage to Fear. They're just going to wait for them to take damage. Here we go.
Flash engage from City onto Perry, though. Sochi, again, not level 5 yet, or not level 6 yet, but he just goes into the back line, and the follow-up from Trevor means 2 kills to Fear. Make it 3. A double to Shochi as he's chasing down Aspect. Aspect trying to get away. Shochi's just so fast. Unofficial triple kill to the level 5 Tryndamere. Make it official. He hits 6 and gets it on the scoreboard.
Remake?
Yeah, this game's toast.
Yeah, this is not going well here for TLF as, oh man, again, like they drafted for the bot priorities, so I can appreciate going for that early dragon, but Jarvan at level 4, Aspect hovering down. I mean, the Tryndamere, we saw the power of Trinity there. He just popped Ghost and ran him down.
Yeah, that was kind of filthy. Didn't even get low enough that it was a concern that he wasn't level 6 at the time. I'm happy you pointed it out, Cubby. Look at all the damage Dragon's doing.
I mean, Quadrake pumps the deeps, man. City, he's already at half, and he knows that they're going to get stuck in the pit, so he's got to go for an engage. Perry just insta-flashes out to make sure that nothing can be chained onto him. And then it's just Fear full committal. Like, Aspect still on the Dragon, is still taking damage. Fear knows they're up in this fight. A lot of health has been lost, mana's been lost, cooldown's been lost to try and take down this Drake, and Fear just... Oh, that blast cone wasn't very helpful. That was a nice flash there from Shochi.
I didn't know blast cones can do damage. That's kind of what it looked like right there.
So you can flash in the back half of Tryndamere. So it looks like a booming blast cone, but instead it just got a kill for Shochi and put him on top of Vizier.
And I like the initial look from City to go for the Flag and Drag flash onto Perry. Yeah. Because not a lot of players will even go for something like that, but clearly the team wasn't ready. I think if LJX and Rovex are ready to throw everything at Perry, maybe you kill the Sejuani, but at that point you're already in a really rough spot. So Fear now with a 3,000 or 2,000 gold lead, and that Dragon. They're off to the races, especially Shochi in the mid lane, who is like, oh, that's 1,300 individually.
That's not bad for sub 8 minutes, right? We'll take that. Now Surdy.
Could get worse. Ooh, Surdy flashes early to avoid Perry, who still has the Glacial Prison. Sion's quite tanky. They throw out the Glacial Prison, but they have not committed to the dive. And it looks like they won't.
Yeah, so they don't commit to the dive, but they do commit to taking HP away from Sion. He's going to have to base and ult back, and that means that Rift Herald's going to go for free. And Surdy actually just trying to greed for the wave. I can respect that from him, as he doesn't want to miss that full wave. As Faisal
Also doesn't have the ult yet, so he's buying a little more time. He actually clears it, so Faisal takes a turret shot. Doesn't have the ultimate. Oh, Surdy's so close to killing Faisal, but just doesn't have enough mana or enough health to chase it down.
Yeah, but again, Fear, I mean, they achieve what they wanted to, right? They already had mid-priority. They get a chunk out of top, and they take that Rift Herald uncontested. So it's pretty easy game to execute here from the perspective of Fear. All they have to do is just make sure that, you know, this bot lane doesn't get too out of hand. Okay.
Flash to chain the corruption. Heal used aggressively, and the death sentence lands. The lane that looked to be fine, to be the lifeline for TLF, is actually the one that is now losing the 2v2 as City goes in. Cataclysm onto Trevor. We'll trade one back. Manui's got a lot of damage, though. That's lethal tempo, baby! Lethal tempo gaming for Manui, getting all the stacks of the Rovex next. That's a support. Caitlyn, she is not that fed. Manui almost dies. One more auto from a minion might have gotten him, but he does survive.
Manui holding strong, and Fear continue to get ahead. At this point, you know, it's not a perfect game, but I mean, we're looking at this is scrim territory that has not even been explored yet, Kangas, with where this game's at. This is, I mean, 7-1, the Dragon going that far south, given the scaling of Fear. This is unexplored League of Legends territory. That's what we like in the minds of the Salt here in NACL.
To the LCS Challengers League, where we air scrim games to completion so that you can learn with us and the players how to play these games out.
What the hell happens when Tryndamere is 3-0-2 5 minutes into a game?
An introspective. That's what we call these ones. Or a documentary. I don't know. It's definitely something, as Trevor... Oh, look to predict the hook. Aspect does get far enough away. Now City's here. Maybe trying to lock down Shochi. Emperor's Divide back. Shochi just says, all right, well, I'll go this way then. You know, that's fine. He'll get away. Has not popped ultimate, by the way. And just ghosts away. He's good.
Yeah, if there's going to be a documentary on like what happens when Tryndamere's 3-0-2 early, I'm going to need an intervention for it being on this all for the season, Kangas. This is... we're getting to extreme League of Legends here.
This is, have you seen, what's that new, like, document, or not documentary, it's like the reality show. It's like Physical 100, something like that. I forget exactly the name of it. Basically, it's a bunch of fit people competing against each other. Right now, I think Shochi's the fittest on the map here.
Yeah. I'd say so. He's got a really big blade and arm, you know, too.
Okay, Herald does not take the full turret, though. I thought Perry was going to go for the dive. It was only Rovex there, but we are not posturing for the kills. They will just take the turret plates. And TLF spot lane will at least be able to survive for a little bit longer, I say, as there's 3 people in the bot dry bush.
Yeah, and they spot City, so it looks like Fear won another play.
Oh, Trevor, not quite landing it, but the Chain of Corruption does. So goodbye, Rovex. Hope you've enjoyed your time on this episode of 3-0 Tryndamere mid lane. Now 4-0 Varus bot lane at 12 minutes.
All right, we got some competition.
It's a working title, but, you know, we're still in our pilot episode.
No,
so
we've got some competition, you know. The fit people are trying to, you know, get the best of each other. I like it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's boring if you know who's going to win the show in episode 1, you know. You have to show, like, the power scaling of, like, okay, this is who you think is going to win, but then here comes Manui, bot lane with the jungle gank, and it will get them a second dragon of the game along... No, the turret is still holding, actually. They have not claimed the turret yet.
Hold on,
but you got to imagine that's going soon.
I want to return to your last point. It's not entertaining if you know the answer. I feel like The Bachelor is still very entertaining, and you can look up who wins at the start of every season. Just throwing that out there.
You can?
Yeah, you can.
What?
Yeah. I was gonna ask next if it was
the show.
I was gonna ask next if it was you, because it's all leaked by Reality Steve.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the guy's name's Reality Steve.
Well, I'm sorry, Cubby. I am not allowed to tell you who wins this game. But, you know, I'll give you 500 to 1 odds if you want to take a bet.
I feel, you know, I'm going to pass, but, yeah, I get to flex my Bachelor and Bachelorette knowledge here. That's where we're at in this game.
Fun fact, I've never once watched a single episode of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette.
Yeah, fun fact, I had to for my old job. So
that's what we call your ex?
No, we learned something.
It's kind of rude.
Oh no!
No wonder you were fired. All right, back into the game.
God.
Cincinnati Fear up massively in the gold department, 5,000, and we're getting into the loopy territory on the cast for game number 1. But here's signs of life for TL. Getting out of Faisal, no flash, so he is stuck in that Cataclysm, and much needed lifeline for TLF, picking up some more gold.
Oh, they still dropped 2 turrets for that, but you know what, TLF, we like the fact you're finding plays, taking down Faisal, and at least getting some gold somewhere. That said, Trinamir takes a turret, Varus takes a turret, and this game is still was a pretty doomed since that first dragon. So we're gonna keep on having a good time with this. But I will say, I think it's worth noting, Fear, something you brought up earlier, Kangas, they have their own takes on draft and how they play the game. And I do want to give them credit. You know, this game, we think it's over already, but their own take has paid off again in this game.
Something that I always like to remind people of, as I'm trying to formulate how I want to phrase this, is that for teams like TLF, it is still about the growth. It's still about new looks for them. And I think that especially when you have a new bottom laner coming in this late into the season, you never want to judge a team for whether they win or lose the game in the situation that they're in. It's about what are the signs of life that they are showing so far. And I will say, as unfortunately Rovex is getting picked while I'm setting up the bot lane, it's been looking like the bot lane focus. A City actually saving Rovex's life. Still alive. LJX out of got to pump out a lot of damage here if they want to turn this one around. Aspect has teleported in, but they do not continue the play. Looks like just a Hex portal out. Perry didn't take it. Perry might get caught here. Aspect does not throw out the Emperor's Divide, and Perry, he's going to get away. Manui throws out the Chain of Corruption, and Trevor with the death sentence over the wall. Fear find Aspect.
Oh man, Fear just cannot stop finding things on the map. They're too far ahead. TLF have to reset. I do want to return to that last point. Of course it is like about development for these teams, right? I mean, in the case of TLF, it sure looks like they're going to be competing in the promotion relegation tournament, depending on how playoffs go. As of course, that is based off playoffs. That's a bummer.
Direct your eyes away from the screen.
I feel like that scream from Sion is like, you know, now it's despair.
That wasn't as much a battle cry as the frustration.
Now it's
from how the game's been going so far.
Yeah. But I mean, these are teams that, you know, can look to improve, can keep on going, and I think that, you know, on the side of TLF, like it's tough making changes later. I mean, it's been a hard week. You know, I don't know how much practice these guys have with LJX. It wasn't on the roster before this week. We're gonna watch Surdy go down.
City's trying to back him up. He is quite tanky.
Is he, though?
I imagine there will be enough damage. Flashes away from the death sentence. Now the rest of the team is here with 30 to bait the whole time. Faisal has not taken the lantern yet. Now gets out of there. Perry still frontlining. Has a big health bar. Surdy goes down.
Go zombie Sion.
Zombie form. Perry might just fall here. Ooh, Trevor! Body blocking it.
Oh,
Flash
no.
from LJX. The auto's just barely not enough as he's pulled in. Faisal's got the damage. And Fear turn around the turnaround play. The double kill over to Faisal. And they might even get more. I think Rovex is going to get chased down right here. Yep. Mid turret falls. Rovex picked up as well. Give Faisal the triple kill that he deserves. On a rampage.
Yeah, we got some emotes coming out. A little bit of spam there for Perry on the wave. I'll have to see it. As I gotta say, we did have Mad Magical join us in draft, and he said that he thought that Trevor's best champ was Thresh. Trevor's having a damn good Thresh game.
Oh yeah.
Or no, it was Morgana. His Thresh been damn good.
The Thresh hooks are... Oh, the most impressive thing is that this has just not been played too much in this meta right now. I don't know how much Trevor plays this in solo queue or champs queue, but from what we've seen in the stage games and what I imagine also then in scrims is not this. So the fact that Trevor's able to pull this out and have this kind of performance on a Thresh means that, yeah, Trevor's definitely put on the work throughout his career to get to this point on the champ.
All right, again, TLF just trying to get any gold they can back, any plays. They need shutdowns at this point. As Perry, nice flash out of the Cataclysm. I mean, that saved some damage on him that I think saved his life in the back half.
Yeah. And also jumped out from the Sion queue, fully charged. So I think Perry would have died, especially with how low the health is here. Yeah, definitely would have.
Well played.
Oh, so close.
Kraken proc might have gotten the boar, but was not meant to be as TLF continued to fall. Oh, hang on.
Ooh, wait a minute. How did we get here?
Why are we this side of the map?
I know he got the turret. I know he's pushing in this wave. Ghost is about to come off cooldown and shut down to LJX. Rovex says,
all right.
Come on, man. I thought I was
6 items, Silver the Dream, baby. Starts now.
To stack up, you know? It's easy. Farm till late. As Surdy now under turret with City for the second Herald charge. Fear grouping up around this. And they take the turret. Now Chain of Corruption in onto City. Faisal throws out the ult. Does not quite land it. And now Fear, they get the turret. They won't get the fight afterwards. TLF back off.
You know, I gotta say, oh, wait.
Yeah, Shochi just went Hullbreaker.
Yeah, we just, I saw Navoria on my screen, and now I see a Hullbreaker.
Wait, he's back.
And now I see a Navoria again.
Shochi?
Oh, okay, well, we get a replay. Trinamir, how did you end up on the wrong side of the rift here, my friend?
Oh, maybe he kills Aspect.
I mean, he is trying to be the buffest on the rift, keep in mind. So how's that going for him? Yeah, it's going pretty well for him. I'd say that's a good start. But we kind of forgot about everything else. Okay, never mind.
Not the turret. I think that's still worth your life, probably. I mean, you were deathless, so you.
I mean, if it's solo queue, you're all typing worth for sure.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And knowing Shochi, probably all chatting in this game, we just don't get to see it. So
yeah,
shout out to North American all chat, everybody.
Hey, you know where you can see all chat tonight, Kangas?
What? Sven's Twitter?
No, the Return of Champs queue. It's back.
Oh yes! Woo! That is also coming back tonight, so a reminder for everybody. Check it out. Cubby, are you going to stream tonight?
No. We have other plans.
Oh, yeah, we do have other plans. Well, we'll stream another night then.
Yeah, we do have other plans.
We'll leave it up to some of the other cashers. Hopefully somebody will get a Champs Q stream up. And, again, the helmet for first place, it's got to be an NACL player to get it, so that way we can make content. Maybe a Fear player, as they're right onto the Baron now.
That would fit their logo, too. I think it's got to be a Fear player. Who's most likely to win Champs Q on Cincinnati Fear?
Ooh. I mean, based on the current game?
No, just period.
Just period.
Yeah, this game was over 15 minutes ago. Come on.
I'm going to go Faisal. I feel like Faisal is the type of player to do it.
I got to say, I will give Perry some love. I believe his Twitch is Perry Jungle Law. Or, like, Perry JG Law. Or it's Perry JG. In between his CQ games, he goes in the practice tool and, like, reviews his games a lot and like practices his clears and really talks through like a lot of his thought process. It's actually like really good educational content if anyone wants to become a better jungler. I think Perry's stream is actually really good for that. Yeah, I really like. He was definitely one of the amateur players that made the most out of Champs Q. So I always love when that happens.
And also is you know, pretty active on socials. Really cool guy to follow. So go check him out.
He can put his leg behind his head too, and that scares me.
He can put his leg behind his head. We've done this on stream multiple times.
That scares me.
As TLF, I think, are, you know, unfortunately, you know, getting contorted a little bit as well in their own base. Engage on. Glacial Prison. Death Sentence. City's down. Minui dominating right now on the Varus, and every inhibitor falls. Fear on their victory lap into TLF's base. Pushing in with Baron-empowered minions for the game close of game number 1. It's back to the drawing board for TLF, as they'll have to try and mount the comeback for the next one. But for now, it is Fear showing, yeah, generally you don't want to give up first blood to a Gwen and a triple kill to a Tryndamere pre-level 6. I say, but they're not actually ending yet. It looks like that's going to be the next wave shove-in.
Yeah, maybe Trevor gets caught. Who knows? You know, Fear not wanting to make any mistakes, as they want to make sure this is a clean one. And Fear, again, there are, like, all these teams are playing for seeding in our double elimination of playoff bracket, as we are now 2/3 of the way through the season. Fear, you know, still one of that better seed. Maybe they can draw one of these other provisional teams in that first round. Fear have had a lot of success against them. So, of course, our teams always have something to play for, even if this would have been a scrim that was FF'd at 6, you know? Or remade, I should say.
Well, hey, now you, me, and the audience know what happens when a Tryndamere gets a triple kill at level 5.
That's important. I really wanted to know. I have not been playing a lot of League of Legends here. I've been working League of Legends. I have not experienced this in a while.
But see, the thing is, the team probably wins the game, as is happening currently. City finally goes down. Fear, they back to respend their gold, but they will end the game on this push, surely. Double kill to Faisal. How much do they want to go for? Minui takes away the chance at a Penta, so now it's just how many kills they want to get. How much do they want to pad the KDAs before taking down the Nexus? It's only Aspect left alive, but Fear will end game number 1.
GG's. I mean, a really hot start for Fear. Got to give a lot of props to Trevor for how that game played out early. But again, after that Dragon play from TLF went sideways, they weren't able to set up the waves properly. Tried to go for that drag. Trinamir, 3-0-2 out of that. That game's over, man. So TLF, I wish you can go back to the drawing board and be like, all right, this was bad. We screwed this up. We can talk about this. But then the rest you can kind of write off.
Signs of Life being the bot lane, of course, for TLF, which is unique considering they have a last-minute sub coming in late in the season. With that, we're going to throw it to a break while we give the players some time to rest and recuperate before game number 2, and we'll bring back Magical for our halftime show to keep you entertained after this.